It's Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions, and we have a big week ahead. We are talking all about stress management. We're getting into the psychology of stress, maximizing stress, body keep score, the types of chronic stress, and interpersonal and socialization of stress and how we can get out of it. I'm really excited for you to explore these topics this week. So if you like it, please hit the like button and subscribe so that you can get all of the great topics. Thank you so much and enjoy. Hi, it's Jennifer Evans, and we're talking about stress and how it relates to our bodies. We are talking about the groundbreaking research of Dr. Bessel van der Kolk's book, The Body Keeps Score. So our body and our mind is connected, and when we have stress and trauma, there's a disconnect, there's a fear there. So have you ever wondered why your neck tenses up before a big meeting, or why your stomach churns when you're anxious? It's because your body is reacting. It's the hormones that are going on in your body that is trying to prepare for fight, flight, or freeze, and it is preparing ourselves. And so, functional medicine, that's exactly what they're looking at, and that's why they start at the GI tract, because it's one of the most common places and the easiest to correct when we are under an increased amount of stress. So what we're looking at is how we can find that connection and how can we overcome it. Your body will keep the score even when your mind forgets it. So even though you want to avoid, even though you want to repress and not think about distressing things or not feel that this is distressing, your body will say, like, this is not okay. And sometimes if you can be attuned to your body, you'll realize your stress or your distress faster and easier than when you actually can be aware of it. When we're really good at avoiding, we don't even realize how much duress we're putting our body under. And that's because our vagus nerve is kind of the superhighway. It's like right in the center. And it is putting things out very, very quickly for all of our reactions to happen, our fight, flight, freeze, all of the hormones to release almost immediately. So it's not necessarily that you're anxious and you have that pressure on your chest and your, elbows are up into your shoulders or up into your ears. Mine gets so high I could put my elbow there. It is, your body is actually going into survival mode. And remember, when we're talking about when we're emotional, we're taking on the survival. That primitive brain is the survival part of our brain. So everything is kicking into gear. Our cortisol is getting hiked up. Our parasympathetic is like, let's do this. Our sympathetic's like, I got you, come on. It is revving everything up, and as it's revving everything up, the lactic acid is just collecting in all of your muscles because it's ready to move quickly. It's ready to fight, flight, or freeze. And so because all of that is happening, what we're going to find is there's a lot of inflammation that's coming as a result of that. That's why we get chronic muscle pain or tension, and that's why we get chronic pain or chronic fatigue can come because we're not regulating and staying aware of the stress that we have. We'll get digestive issue. IBS is oftentimes because our body is under extreme stress for long periods of time, and so it can't digest correctly. Sleep disturbances, we're not recovering at night. When we have too much duress, we don't recover at night, and so our body is not able to heal its cells, and so it's taking a toll. It's creating more inflammation. It's not recovering. It's not healing. And that's where all of these immune system changes starts happening, because there's just nothing left for your body to be able to produce. It creates, your body becomes an antigen for itself. And antigens are these unknown cells, if you will, right? A cold is an antigen, right? And the white blood cells come, they're like, I'm gonna get you, I don't need you here. But then your body creates cells that are its own antigens, and that's where autoimmune diseases come in. There's so much stress happening, and there's so much trauma that you're repressing and not letting it go. Your body starts to fight against itself, and this is happening more and more regularly and frequently in today's society because of all of the opportunities we have to avoid. We get on our cell phone and we doom scroll and we don't engage in life, and that may feel really relaxing, but in essence it's just that negative cycle is going over and over again. It's more and more antigens, more and more parasympathetic responses, more and more vagus nerve stimulation. And so what we know is unprocessed emotions can become a burden on our body. That suppressed memory is just sitting there and churning. It's that distressing thought or feeling we start to avoid. We get a short pull, and the things that we're doing to avoid is just compounded interest of negative cycling. There's usually something that's there that keeps us in the negative cycle and keeps us hooked and addicted to the negative cycle. And so all of it has to be released. A couple weeks from now, we're going to do universal constructs and really get into what that bad brain really looks like at a minute cognitive level. And you're going to see how many interconnections we have when we get into the amygdala hallway and all these doors are open and we're just trying to get away from it. And instead, what we're trying to do is ground, be present. Those deep breathings, body scans, that's why they're so important, is so that you can find your tension and let it go. The more that we can find the tension, collect it, and let it go, the easier it is to find, like we have, and to, again, it's a valid data point that we have agency to over our body. Because again, the mind and body are fearful of each other when we have high stress moments. And those high stress moments create elevated cortisol, the nice little bulge. It's not necessarily the donuts, although cortisol loves its sugar. But you know, the pregnant lady belly of police officers, it's a stereotype, I know, so bear with me. But that is a cortisol bulge. You know, what's the Simpsons officer, Chief Wiggum? That is a cortisol bulge. A little bit of morbid obesity, but a cortisol bulge. So that cortisol sits in your stomach, and what it's doing is it's craving carbs, because what it wants is it wants to hoard every carb that you ingest. It wants to hoard all of that fat, or all the sugar, which will then turn into fat, so that, because it thinks you're going to react quickly. So when we're in high stress states for long periods of times and we're craving all those carbs, you are feeding your trauma. You are feeding your trauma by eating carbs, and you are feeling more and more defeated. You're feeling more and more tired. You're feeling more and more incapable because you are in a negative cycle. Address it. There's no shame in the game. We all have the same thoughts. 5 universal constructs to be exact. So let it go. There's a lot of ways to let it go. We have somatic therapy, we have somatic yoga, we have trauma-informed yoga, EMDR, mindfulness. It's all about connecting back to that mind-body connectedness and understanding what is going on and finding a sense of agency over your mind and over your body. It's a difficult situation, but again, it all comes down to a sense of agency and presence. The more that you are here, the more that you are radically accepting. Acceptance is not agreeing. the more that you have that sense of agency to make an action-oriented decision instead of a reactionary decision that will give you a perceived sense of control and actually more chaos and more negative cycling. I would love to talk to you more about this. Drop down into the video description. You can schedule a free wellness insight. Down there is a link. You can go on my website. I've got tons of more information on blogs that I am putting out there. I am here to support you on your journey, whether you are wanting to build your own business and own company, or just trying to do the bare minimum and retire early, and everything in between, because dichotomies are anxious statements. I am here for you, and I can tell you how to maximize on that brain and to not feel the shame and guilt, because we're all going through it at the same time. I am Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions. Thank you so much.